Hello guys, what's going on? I'm okay, thanks. You know what? Yesterday I was extremely tired. I was extremely tired again. I was recording my voice. When I was driving, I was on my way to the dog's trimming salon in the morning at around 10 a.m. Since I didn't want to spend my evening recording my voice like this on that day, so I decided to do it on my way there and on my way back. But since I was driving, I couldn't concentrate on speaking, and I didn't think that I was speaking well. Yeah, I don't speak well usually, but I thought that I was not as good as I always do even. But when I was driving, I was recording my voice, and when I was doing that, I felt like I was just bored. Okay. While I was doing that, I felt bored. I mean, I can explain this in a better way, but anyway, after I finished it, I didn't finish it. Okay, I stopped by several places yesterday after when I was coming back from the dog salon, after I left my dogs there, and since it was going to take a few hours until they finished their procedure, their jobs. So I had to come back home once and wait for some time at home, and then I would have to go back to the dog's trimming salon again to pick my dogs up. And so on my way back from the trimming salon, I had to stop by several places like a convenience store and a library and a supermarket, and one more, a drugstore, okay? And every time I stopped by one place, I had to say, okay, I'm off to my recording. And when I returned, every time I returned from each place, I said, okay, thank you for waiting, or something like that. And the more I do it, the more I did it, the more I felt not bored, but I don't know how to explain this, but I just hated speaking. I mean, I was fed up with, I got fed up with listening to my voice, as I was recording, because the biggest problem was that I expected too much about myself. So if I can't feel that I am doing as much as I wish, it makes me feel so bad. And because I tend to speak longer sentences just because this is practice, right? So I want to make it more challenging. And in order to make it more challenging, I want to use some words and expressions I'm not used to using. And I tend to make longer sentences using relative pronouns. Or I just try to say a sentence or say sentences to see if I can finish them. It's a challenge, right? But since probably I try to do something that is way more difficult than I can, it makes everything, way difficult for myself. And it makes me feel less confident, right? And then I didn't want to listen to the recording I did yesterday. I normally listen to it to review what I did, because otherwise I will never know how I'm doing, right? Sometimes it's okay for me to listen to what I did on my recording, but sometimes somehow just when I finished it, I feel so bad, embarrassed. I feel embarrassed myself. I don't know why. Sometimes I tend to stop from time to time to look for the best words and expressions that I can use, and it sounds so clumsy for myself, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't put up with it myself. And then it makes me feel like hesitant to listen to what I recorded. And it happened to me yesterday. And I just listened to it. What I recorded yesterday, about 2 hours ago at last, when I was cooking. I wore my earphones, and while cooking, I decided to listen to it. And you know what? Before listening to it, I thought that it would be terrible, and it would be the end of the world. It would be disastrous. I wanted to die because I was so embarrassed about it. I felt embarrassed about it. But after I listened to it, it was pretty long because I was driving, and I went there and back, and it took about an hour. But I didn't finish it, as I said a little earlier. I didn't finish the recording because I didn't feel like doing it anymore. So usually I finish my recording by saying, okay, thank you for listening. Have a good day, or have a good week, or something like that, right? But I didn't feel like ending the recording. I just stopped at that last stop. As I said, I had to stop by some places to do some errands, right? And at the last place, I stopped the recording. And after I returned from the place, and I was supposed to start the recording again, but I didn't because I couldn't. I was fed up with my own recording, so I wasn't brave enough to restart it. If you listen to the latest video, which is yesterday's recording, it finishes halfway through. Is it okay? Halfway through. It's not, I don't know, it's not completed anyway. It's not completed because I wasn't brave enough to finish it. So I just ended because I felt so bad about it. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was just sick about my English because I had to use the same expressions many times over and over again. I just felt like that while I was speaking. And while I was speaking, in my mind, I was thinking like, what am I doing? I can't find the exact word. How clumsy I am doing. Or something like that. I felt so embarrassed about myself. But what I tried to do is, at that time, was that if I couldn't find the exact word, I at least tried to explain what it was. And I sometimes used the wrong tenses, or I had to make mistakes here and there, and I did self-correction. Is it okay? I can correct them myself, but every time I had to do it, I just hated it. I was a bit self-conscious, right? And today, last night I felt terrible. And I almost gave up. And I was going to skip today's practice. Or I was even thinking about taking some time off. But I didn't skip in the end because I am here, right? Here I am doing my speaking practice again. Why is that? Because when I woke up this morning, I felt so tired, mentally tired, because I was fed up with my own English. I didn't feel that my English was going to be any better. And how long has it been since I started studying English again at the age of 28? Almost 30 years. I am still at this level, and how long it'll take from now? I was devastated. I was hopeless. I wanted to cry. I felt like crying. I was, terrible, okay? And then I watched some YouTube videos, one of which was this guy I happen to find these days. He is teaching IELTS. I don't know what to say, but he's an English teacher, and I think he's American, and he has a YouTube channel in which he teaches people how to pass IELTS test. And one of his videos, he said that you shouldn't try to make your speech fancy, okay? And And he always says that make your sentences as simple as possible. You don't have to make longer sentences. You don't have to use fancy idioms. And you don't have to impress the examiner. All you need to do is, getting familiar with English. And you don't have to use very sophisticated languages, words and phrases, advanced ones. But this is what I wanted to try, actually. And I realized that this actually made myself feel bad about my English. So I tried to change my mindset, and I decided to try to speak as simple as possible. And also, I said that I love writing, but I try to write beautifully, sophisticatedly. I hope I'm making myself understood, though. For change, I try to make my sentences when writing, okay, and also speaking, as simple as possible and as short as possible. And another video I watched this morning was this American woman. She's also an English teacher. She said that you have to focus more on quality than quantity, meaning that you don't have to know so many words from the beginning, but you can practice so that you can use a certain amount of words, like, for example, 300 words, 500 words. They seem to be not many, but it's better for you to be able to use them so that you can express your thoughts and your opinions or your feelings well. And she says about her own niece or her relative who is 12-year-old cousin or someone. And although her cousin, 12-year-old cousin, doesn't know as many English words as she does, but that cousin can be eloquent. She's eloquent because she can use all those words that she knows, and she can express herself really well. So that's why the teacher suggested we try to use very familiar words first, and then and make it your base, and then try to add one or two new words each time. That way, it's not going to be very difficult for you to accumulate. Yeah, I think there will be any better words there will be any easier words to say than accumulate, but I can't think of anything. This is one of my problems also. I try to find more sophisticated words, and then I cannot say it in an easier way. So this is one of my problems. I try to make myself sound very fancy. Okay, so that's why, in a nutshell, what I want to say here is that first, try not to use more and more new words, but try to be good at try to be good at something that you're already familiar with, and then a little by little, one by one, you will get something new, and you will add something new to your basics. And I decided to do this from now on, so I don't have to be in a hurry. I don't feel pressured because and memorizing doesn't work. This is what also she said. This is what I always say in my videos, but memorizing forces you, right? You have to force yourself to memorize, right? It doesn't work because if you force to memorize something, it's easy to forget. It's easier to forget. So the best thing you do is come across what you want, new words and expressions, as many times as possible, and then they will sink in your mind more naturally, and in this case they last longer, much longer. You will not forget. You will never be able to forget something that has sunk in. Is it okay? Sunk in? Sunk in for a long time. Yes, this is what I wanted to talk about today. Yes. So, and now, after listening to yesterday's recording, it was not as bad as I thought it would be, and the tense is okay. My tenses are okay. Okay, anyway. And now I feel okay, fine. I'm back to normal. And I'm even a little bit more enthusiastic about my language learning again. It's funny that I sometimes feel discouraged, and sometimes something changes my mood, and I feel excited and elated and exhilarated and happy back again. And I think I was saved. Is it okay? Am I making myself understood? Okay, I'm happy that I'm back to normal now. And anyway, I finally found a good dentist, I think, and I called them today and I made an appointment. And too bad that it was 2 weeks away, because the dentist was quite popular. But it's a long story, so I'm going to talk about it in more detail tomorrow. After tomorrow, though, okay. Anyway, I'm happy that I was able to find a good dentist, probably good dentist. I had a hard time finding that dentist, actually, and it was a long story. And I hope that my decision this time will turn out to be right and perfect. And funny thing is that after I made a reservation, appointment, okay, I made an appointment with the dentist. I didn't feel any pain. I had a toothache, but it wasn't as painful as it was now. It isn't as painful as it was now. It was before. Okay, as usual, my daughter was coming down from the third floor to the first floor, so I had to stop my recording. I'm a bit self-conscious. Okay, after I called them to make an appointment, I didn't have any more pain. I didn't have any more toothache somehow. Yeah, but it feels a bit different, and it feels still, the tooth feels a bit strange, weird. So there is something wrong with this teeth. So, but I'm happy that I will be able to I will finally be able to find what the problem is about this tooth, because the dentist is only one of two dentists in this region. I'm living in a pretty big city, and there's only two dentists who are qualified with a microscope treatment. I'll look it up in the dictionary so that I can explain it more in detail. So I cannot explain it today because I don't know the word. Okay, it's an instrument. It's an instrument you use, or doctors use, to look at something really, really tiny, something that your eyes cannot see. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say, though. Okay, and then, yes, I went to another hospital today about my arm. I sometimes said that sometimes in my previous videos that my arms hurt, and I decided to figure out what the problem was, okay? And then I had been lazy, but this morning I decided to finish this anxiety and decided to go to the nearest although I don't know, forget the word. Okay, it's a dentist, not a dentist, but it's a hospital, and they deal with bones. Okay, bones. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, if you can't say exact word, you can't say the exact word, you can just explain what it is in English, right? Yeah, it's important, right? It's important. And anyway, I went to the hospital, and I did lots of x-rays, and they told me that it was not something serious, but it's shoulder pain because of age, due to age. And I was worried that this might have something to do with my colon cancer. Okay, I had the operation for it, and now I think I'm healthy, but I was worried if this arm pain could have something to do with malignant something, malignant tissue. And I asked about it to my doctor, and he laughed, saying that probably it did have nothing to do with it, but if you are worried about it, maybe you could get a MRI. The hospital is not big, it's not a general hospital with so many departments, and so they didn't have MRI. So in this case, they have, they introduced another bigger hospital, with an MRI, so that I can get a MRI. But since if it was cancer that causes my arm pain, the doctor said that it must hurt without moving. But in my case, I feel pain when I move my arms. So that's why I thought that I could wait for a while to see how it goes. Oh, my tense is so messy, right? Okay. Anyway, and they gave me some compress. Is it okay? Compress. So that it can relieve my pain, and I put it on my arm, and it feels so nice. It's so cool, and the smell is like mint, and it feels so nice, and I love it. And at the hospital, they gave me some treatment, like using electronics. Okay, I'm sorry. My daughter came, so I stopped. Okay, they gave me an electrical therapy for about 10 minutes, and they also warmed up my arm. Okay, and it felt so nice. It was like heaven, and it was just for 10 minutes. And some other people, there were some other people sitting on the chair, getting the same therapy, but they all were watching their own smartphones to kill time while they were getting the electrical therapy. But I wouldn't want to look at my iPhone. I just wanted to concentrate on it, because it was so good. It was so nice that I didn't miss any of it. I wanted to be absorbed in it. I really wanted to into it. So I just closed my eyes and just appreciate it. I was appreciating the feeling. I really love it. But next time I will have to see, I don't know, it's a therapist, okay, therapist. They gave me, they are going to give me a massage, or they are going to help me, I don't know, rehab. Is that okay? Rehab. But I've been there when I broke my, finger of my left hand about 2 or 3 years ago, the year 2020 or 21. And at that time, there was this very nasty therapist, and he was so dominant and over I don't know, he was so bossy, and he was just nasty, and I didn't like him. But he was there today, and he gave me a cursory look. He gave me a cursory look at me. He gave a cursory look at me, and I felt as if he noticed something. I think that he remembered me because I been there at that time. I was there at that time, and I will have to see him the next time to get a therapy from him or rehab from him. But I just don't want him to be my therapist, and really hope not. Okay, I'll talk about it some other time though. Okay, but today I went to the hospital, and I was quite happy that my arm pain wasn't as serious as I thought it would be. And my arm pain turned out to be my arm pain wasn't as serious as I had thought it would be. It's so confusing though. Okay, and I got some electrical therapy. Yeah, therapy, and one more thing, and compress. And they all felt so good. I loved them. Okay, that's about it for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow too. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.